Good morning, everyone. My name is Charafat Afilal. I'm expert in water resources. I have been Minister of Water from 2013 to 2018. After listening the beautiful presentation of Professor Dara and Ghani, I did not unfortunately prepare a presentation, but I have to give you some insights regarding managing water from political and strategic level as a policymaker. We know that without any connection between the researcher, between the laboratory, between the professor and the political level, all those beautiful results will start inside the laboratory and inside the university. We want to take them out from laboratory, from modeling, from expertise to the political level. And this is maybe the main issue in managing water sector. Managing water sector is very complicated as the sector is very fragmented. There is the involvement of several stakeholders, and being a water minister is maybe the one difficult mission that we could have, especially in the global change where the water is becoming very, very rare. With the global changement, the impact of climate change, with the conflict and tension between all communities, all countries, how to share the resources, maybe it's very complicated. And the water sector, as a young engineer, I think that it's a sector that need only the involvement of engineers and technical person. But by the time we start thinking that the sector required the involvement and the commitment of all parties, including policymakers, including engineers, including lawyers, including some socio-economic developers. So this sector really, it's very cross-cutting sector, which make its management and its handling very complicated and very difficult. And maybe the main challenges, it's how to bring all those parties around a harmonious, unique, and strategic policy. Yes, we could agree about the policy, but the way that we implement and putting on ground this policy starts becoming very, very difficult, and there is the tension and conflicts between all users and all stakeholders. And as a policy maker managing the water, sometimes you are, as we say in French, devant l'œil de cyclone. Anyone consider you like responsible for what's happening in the sector. Morocco, of course, we are we have in a very difficult situation. We are under through a very difficult time regarding the crisis and the water scarcity, and we say everyone want to keep its advantages by using water, but we need to prioritize. We need to make priority first before dividing the rare amount of resources. And the water security becoming the key element of sovereignty of states. Hopefully in Morocco, we are not sharing the what strategic resources between our neighbors, but without water security, we are compromising the sovereignty of states. We are compromising our stability. We are compromising our social peace in any countries. The problem is how to convince the policymakers for some technical choice. We are listening very beautiful output or outcomes from researchers, but how we can raise those results to the policymakers and bring them into them and allow allocate budget and funding to increase the research. And this is not an easy task for the policymakers because our policymakers they don't have enough background, and the level of rotation of policymakers, they are rotating very faster, so they taking appropriate these tools and these mechanisms starts becoming very difficult, and we start recognizing the role of water only on the shortage period. When we have enough rain, enough water, we forgot about water. You don't have the right to talk about water. You don't have the right about talking about budgets. I'm talking as a former minister. When we have enough rain, you don't need budget, you don't need finance, and we know that data is a key element for strategic planning. Is a sector which based on the strategic planning. We use the data to project in the future, and any delay in programming, in implementing projects, it means 1 year of tension, 1 year of problem, 1 year of conflict. We are living the similar situation by delaying some dams, delaying the desalination project in Casablanca. I leave the project on route, by they put it away from implementing. Now Casablanca is passing through a very difficult situation because we delay implementing the desalination plant in Casablanca. Water sector is based on strategic planning, based in data, and it not accept any delay about programming projects. If we delay any project, any small compound of project, we have to deal with tension, with the drought, with conflicts. It conflict. Modeling, using data to predict the future consumption, the future users. It's the basic of managing a water sector. And as a water minister, we are thinking if the water minister has enough power, enough authority to manage its sector. I see that he has authority, but he does not have authority, even neither power to tell to other socio-economic sector that you should not opt for this choice or other. In all the MENA region, we are building and elaborating our development sector without taking into account the entrance as a water. We build the agriculture policy, we build industrial policy, we build tourist policy, and we look after where is water to build this policy. In the reality, water should be the first type. We should evaluate and assess the situation in any area before building any policy. We went to the Zagora and we encourage watermelon agriculture, and we start looking where we take water, and we took water from the population, from the drinking water from the population. This is the anecdote, maybe the failure of building our policy. We should assess and evaluate in the capacity of each region, each area, each town before building its own socio-economic development sector. This is maybe the anecdote that we should handle with awareness and with more courage from the policymakers inside any other. I have just one insight before concluding. IWRM, we know that integrated water resource management is the only and sustainable way that the water cycle should be managed, including all components, including all the cycle of water. But how to convince our policy, our head of government, that the water should be managed this way. As a water minister, they try to take from me the planning, strategic planning, and give it to other minister, which will compromise all the managing the water sector. I told them not. The planning is a key component of the water policy. It's just like we cut the river into pieces. We could not cut the river into two pieces. We say that you manage this part and you manage this part. Convincing and appropriating the concept of IWRM is really the hard thing in the strategic level and the political level. How we convince, how we be aware that managing water sector through integrated water resource management is the sustainable way and the only best governance way that the water should be managed in any part of the world, despite in where the MENA region or any other region, but IWRM still the sustainable way that the water could be managed. One other insight regarding climate change, we are using the data for today to predict what will be happening in 20 or 30 days, but our policymakers, they don't think, they don't care about what will be happening in 20 or in 30 years later. Why? They are managing their mandate only 5 years. They don't care what will happen in 2050 or 2030. They don't care about that. They are managing the short-term period. This is maybe the current situation of the planet, our the way we product wealth, all the decisions, they don't aware what will be happening in 2020, 2030. They are looking for the current situation and getting benefits from the current situation. This is what we push at to manage climate change and the global change. We should raise the awareness of any party, of any stakeholder, of any decision, that he is the responsible for the future of his children, grandchildren, and the next generation, and will act, we should act by taking into consideration what our children and our grandchildren will live in the future. This is maybe the main step to raise the awareness about climate change, about the global change, about the drought, about the stability, about the conflict, about managing water conflict, anything. We are responsible for for what will be happening, and this is not only the issue of science, but the issue of all connecting the scientific society, researchers with the political world. And we like this event could raise the awareness for youth, for any other parties. Thank you so much.